Hi friends, welcome back. So today I wanted to chat about non-toxic products in your kitchen. So making those swaps to non-toxic natural products in your home can be really overwhelming when you first get started. So my recommendation is always to start slowly, choose either a room or like one area of your home to switch. So maybe that's your kitchen items, or maybe you're going to start off with your makeup. Choose an area that feels important to you and do it slowly. Don't feel like you have to make all the changes overnight. And I really hope that this video doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel like you need to go out and spend hundreds of dollars on new items. But just make these switches slowly as you need to replace things anyway. This is a good opportunity to replace them with items that are non-toxic. So the first item that I want to talk about swapping in your non-toxic kitchen is oils. So if you are using industrial vegetable oils such as canola oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, oils like that, I would highly recommend swapping to more natural oils. Coconut oil, avocado oil, organic grass-fed butter, or lard are much better options. And I know that there are still people that believe that those heart-healthy oils are superior. I would really urge you to dig deep into that research. It is very much outdated at this point. And the idea that oils like canola oil are better for your health were really just manipulated data by the companies profiting from those oils. I truly believe that one of the best things we can do for our health is to cook and bake with really high quality, good organic cooking oils. If you aren't familiar with how those industrial oils are processed and refined, I would recommend looking that up on Google or YouTube. It's very disgusting. They're just not something you want to be consuming, and they're not healthy for you. So definitely recommend like good quality coconut oil or avocado oil are really easy. Avocado oil is pretty much tasteless. Coconut oil has a little bit more of a taste. This is what I use for baking, but I also love to just cook with organic grass-fed butter. Would love to venture into using like grass-fed lard or tallow. Animal fats like that are actually so nutrient dense. They have lots of nutritional value in them. And there's been a huge effort to make people believe that they're unhealthy for us, which is just not the case if you're getting them from a good, high quality source. So the next thing that I would encourage you to swap is your salt. If you're using just like the white table salt, I would definitely recommend swapping to a good quality unrefined salt. I love the brand Redmond Real Salt. It is a really high quality salt. It's mined in Utah, and it has tons of trace minerals that our bodies really need. Table salt has usually been bleached. It has no nutritional value anymore. It typically has anti-caking agents to make it not stick together, and it's just really not beneficial for you. But a good quality unrefined salt like Himalayan salt, Redmond Real Salt, actually has a lot of nutritional value, and it provides you with good electrolytes and a lot of minerals that your body needs. So would highly recommend swapping your salt. I just keep this in here and I just pinch a little bit onto our food, and it just tastes so much better than just like the white table salt as well. Okay, then I would recommend becoming familiar with the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So this is a method of recognizing which produce, which fruits and vegetables you should be purchasing organic and which ones are okay to purchase conventional. So the Dirty Dozen are ones that are heavily sprayed with glyphosate or other pesticides or herbicides that have a lot of health detriments. So the EWG puts out a new Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 list every year. They're usually pretty similar, but sometimes there's little changes. But fruits such as berries, nectarines, apples, grapes, bell peppers are typically on the Dirty Dozen, which means that these are things that you should try to prioritize purchasing organic. And I get it, organic is often much more expensive, and we can't always purchase these items organic. I do try to when I can, but I don't want you to feel stressed because you can't purchase these or you don't have access to these things organic. Just do what you're able to. I love Costco for organic fruits and vegetables, especially frozen ones. Their organic frozen berries are very affordable. Their organic spinach is super affordable, so that's typically where I get my organic produce, or I grow it myself in my own garden. And then the Clean 15 list is produce that are typically less sprayed with pesticides or herbicides, so things like broccoli, Avocados, pineapples, often things that have a thicker peel. So those are things that I don't pressure myself to buy organic because there's just not as much of a benefit. Obviously, if you want to buy everything organic, that's great, but just being aware of the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen and how to prioritize your money, which things to buy organic. We also put a really heavy emphasis on organic and or pasture raised, locally raised meat and milk. These are also things that if farmed the conventional way aren't always super ideal, so we try to purchase our meats from local farmers that we know, and that's a really good way to get high quality products and just ditch the toxins in your kitchen. Okay, so one of my very favorite swaps to make is ditching your non-stick cookware and replacing it with cast iron cookware. This will last you forever. I love cooking with cast iron. I'm actually going to do a whole video on cooking with cast iron and tips because some people find it very overwhelming, but once you get used to it, I just love it so much. I don't even really like cooking on other people's like Teflon non-stick pans anymore. My cast iron, once it's seasoned properly and once you know how to use it, it is truly non-stick and it's so superior. So if you're not familiar with the harms of non-stick pans, I would encourage you to dig into that a little bit. There's a documentary, I think it's called The Devil We Know. It's all about the company DuPont, and they were manufacturing Teflon and basically disposing of this waste into a water source, and it created all of these birth defects. And obviously that's an extreme example where people were consuming this through their water. But again, this is a really, really easy and affordable swap, so I would recommend doing that. Teflon nonstick pans, they've rebranded to a few different things and changed the chemical makeup a little bit. And they say that it's safer now, but again, we don't really know long-term benefits of that, and I would rather just be safe than sorry. And there are several newer non-stick safe alternatives that lots of people love. Personally, I like to just steer clear of those and just stick to cast iron because I feel like every 6 months there's a brand new non-stick that's non-toxic and whatever, and then a few months later it comes out that it's not really as great as they were saying, and they were using a lot of greenwashing and not being super transparent. So I'm just gonna stick with my cast iron. I love that it lasts forever. If I take care of this, it will last my whole life, and I don't need to replace it every 2 or 3 years, which is a huge win for me. And I also love that you can use it on the stovetop. I use it on my glass stovetop, no problem, and you can use it in the oven. So it's super versatile, and I love cooking with cast iron. And then another swap that I have made is using beeswax wraps to wrap food. I will admit that sometimes these aren't as sticky, so if you want something like super airtight, they aren't always the best, but they're definitely more of an eco-friendly alternative than using plastic wrap all the time. And I would much rather this be touching my food than plastic. But for the most part, I prefer to just store all of my food in glass. So whether that is like big glass storage containers, this is what I use for flour, and for yogurt, I make my own yogurt in big batches and then I store it in these. These are awesome. I also just love regular mason jars. You can see behind me, I have tons of things stored in mason jars. This is just like a homemade granola. We store our sugar for coffee, our coffee, and tons of other things in mason jars. Anytime you come into my home, you will find items stored in mason jars because they are durable, they're non-toxic. You can put hot or cold items, you can freeze them. I love mason jars. And then for any other type of food storage where I want a more airtight container, like if my husband was going to like take a lunch to work with leftovers or just to store leftovers in the fridge, I love glass storage containers. Of course the lid is plastic, but the food generally isn't touching the lid. I do try to avoid plastic as much as possible because it's just not a super healthy option, but I love the glass. These can be heated up in the oven or if you have a microwave. We do not have a microwave, which I guess could have been another topic for this, but I know that's pretty like controversial. Some people think microwaves are fine. I just don't love them. Anyway, that's a whole tangent. But these can be frozen, they can be heated up in the oven. So I love storing food in glass containers. And then another really great way to ditch toxins in your kitchen and your whole home really is to use a non-toxic all-purpose cleaning spray. So I really love using non-toxic cleaners in my whole home, in my bathrooms, everywhere. I just don't really feel the need to use toxic cleaners anymore. I found replacements for everything. But if that feels really overwhelming, if you're like really attached to your shower cleaner or something like that, it's totally fine if you want to make those swaps slower. You don't have to do everything all at once. But choosing an all-purpose cleaner, especially to clean your countertops, your stovetop, things that are high touch and places where you would likely have food touching, I would definitely recommend using a non-toxic cleaner on those surfaces. So my favorite is doTERRA's On Guard Cleaning Concentrate. So this is a concentrate, and that means that you just fill this up with water and then literally do like a squirt, probably like a teaspoon, I don't measure it, of this. So this lasts forever. If you were just using it in your kitchen, this would probably last you like many, many months, if not a year. I go through it a little bit faster because I clean my floors with it. I clean my mirrors and my bathtub and pretty much every single surface in my house with this spray. But that's a really good way to make an all-purpose cleaner. If you want something more affordable, just simply using water with vinegar is a really efficient cleaner. I know that not everyone loves the smell of vinegar, which is why I use this instead. But there's lots of different ways that you can make an all-purpose non-toxic cleaner, just depending on your preference and your budget. So I hope that this video was encouraging. Like I mentioned, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I don't want you to feel like you have to go out and buy all kinds of new stuff and start over and everything you're using is terrible. That's not how I want you to feel. I want you to feel encouraged and motivated maybe to make one little change in your home, in your kitchen this week or this month. And of course, there are always more ways that we can level up and continue becoming less toxic in our home, but these are really good basic ways to get started. But I would love to hear what other ways you have ditched toxins in your own kitchen or in your home. If you have any ways that you'd like to share with us, leave that in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon in another video.